If there was one thing I wasn't expecting to see in this week's Ranking of Kings episode, it was my boy Boji not only getting stabbed, but left to bleed out as Hoken just casually sits on the steps watching for his amusement. I mean, they're gonna be okay, most likely, a good majority, I would hope. I'm praying, but the idea of Boji getting that wounded after Kage's seemingly coming to the rescue moment, I should have known it was too good to be true and that he would just slice through him like it was paper mache. There was just so many moments outside of the big action piece, which this episode had one of the best animated fight scenes that Ranking of Kings has seen to date. The spinning camera as all four of them, the new big four here, just kind of going in and attacking. It was a very heroic moment, and it was beautifully animated, almost like Oken was being pushed against a wall, to then ending the episode with honestly feeling like, goddamn, they're all gonna die actually, aren't they? I mean, there's only one other person who can seemingly heal, and that might have actually been Miranjo herself, and the fact that seemingly the little girl that has been trapped with Daida was free, the mask is gone, she has her hands back. It almost feels like whatever innocence Miranjo locked away after everything that happened to her, it might be coming back stronger than ever, and if so, there's actually a chance to stop this beast, because the only thing other than lightning that seemingly can basically knock Oken out is the kind of healing magic, that kind of aura that Queen Hilling did, because he fled from it. So if Miranjo does something similar, or, anyone else like that, then there's a chance, but it's not looking good. But to see the kind of conclusion of what happened in that backstory with the king losing it for obvious reasons, seeing a bunch of villagers smug and arrogant, and I think one of the most powerful scenes in this episode was, without a doubt, the mother holding her child saying, please just spare my kid, because on one hand you're thinking, did you spare the kid of the mother that you slain? At the same time, children are innocent to the parents' sins, but you can understand how someone lost their composure and brutally slaughtered everyone, and it's interesting how the little girl who's been talking with Daida, the little Miranjo, has been saying how, she was blamed for all that, when really, it seems like the king did it as revenge on her behalf, and it's interesting to see guilt and how it's represented in the internal psyche, like it's been portrayed in this show. But to see how, him just saying save her, and the fact that she just didn't smile afterwards, it's so interesting to paint a picture of what led this woman to commit so many atrocities, like killing Boji's mother. And it doesn't excuse those actions, but it's hard not to come out saying, God damn, it's understandable how someone becomes so broken after having a childhood like that, and honestly just wanting to see the king safe and happy. It's gonna be interesting though, because we kind of get the idea of the afterlife from this episode. Kage himself came very close to seeing his mother. I actually thought they were going the direction of a more devilish scene, because sometimes, you see the people in stories that you love the most and they're trying to get you to come to the other side, but once you do, you realize it's actually your hell. No, it actually seemed like the souls of the dead, as we saw, Miranjo's mother there, Boji's mother there, Kage's mother, and the fact that she didn't try to continue to force him over there. She accepted that if he has unfinished business, then he needs to live his life, but if he has nothing to live for, then come home to me. And that was such a beautiful moment, while also showcasing that, Miranjo is coming closer and closer to who her mother wanted her to be. And the fact that we didn't have a scene where Boji's mother smiled or anything. She was pissed. She was rightfully pissed, because you're the one who took me from my baby boy. But it also was one of those looks that, in my opinion anyway, because it was just a simple look, it gave me the impression, I want to hurt you, but I recognize at the same time, you dealt with your own shit. Don't make me not wanting to strangle you right here and now for nothing. Maybe correct the behavior, because my boy's still alive. You best not let him die as well. That's kind of the impression I got from that scene, and I know it's just a character looking, but looks can kill, and that wasn't a look to kill. It was a look of, make it up to me, or you're going to wish you would have sent me to a different hell, because goddamn, you're not going to want to cross over here when your time does come. It was just so amazing and heartbreaking and frightening to watch this episode go from worst case to, once again, holy shit, we're pushing him back, to then the music at the end of this episode just sending a chill up my spine. If you needed something to make me almost shit my pants, this episode did it, with both the directing on the visual and audio side. I mean, from the snakes, that was brutal. That was like a vampire scene. He stabs the head, or the neck without the head, and then just starts sucking the blood and draining it as Bebin comes in and slices him in half. it's one of those things, man, where you have an impossible to defeat foe who can, even if you destroy their weapon, it attaches itself again. Like, the only way is to knock him out, chain him up so much that he can't break out, and lock him away. Like, honestly, bury him alive. Like, that's probably the only way to truly prevent him from ever escaping. It's one of those things that, can a brother really do that to another brother? Despite there being a lot of, like, heartache in this episode, there was some fun in the appropriate moments. Like, the fact that we have Best Boy thinking, how could someone as rich as me die? I have so much money left unspent. I can't be dead here. Oh, thank God I'm not dead. The wealthy can't die. Like, those are the moments, I think, at the appropriate times to relieve the tension, because this is the breathing room portion of the episode. If there's any man who needs to make a little light of a situation, it's him. I mean, the fact that he is such a troll, I think, was just perfect. But overall, like, this is one of the heaviest episodes, as per usual, over the past handful since this arc really got into the thick of it. It's one of those things, right? Because seemingly, Daida won't have to wait too much longer if the spirit or the mental image of Miranjo is anything to go off of. I mean, it very much seems like the way they're building it up anyway for this arc, because for those who don't know, the manga just recently started part 2 of its arc, and seemingly season 1 is going to conclude part 1. From what I've heard, part 1 of the story feels very conclusive in its own way, so it's not going to be like a Blue Balls ending or anything, but there's still more story that's being made, and years down the line, we'll probably see a season 2 someday, given it's like the 4th most popular anime in Japan right now. But the idea that it is going to end in a sort of like conclusive way but leaving room for more says to me that the king and Miranjo potentially might pass on. I'm not totally sure, because the king is in Daida's body. If the king sees no more reason to hold on to this mortal world, very much Daida could come back in, and Boji probably will be the key to that. So I'm wondering if they're going to end it in a way where Miranjo no longer tries to ruin other people's lives for the king's sake, but rather accepts that maybe the two of them just need to go on into the afterlife sort of a thing, and whether that's hell or heaven, who the hell knows, because of the sins they've committed and the uncertainty of what the afterlife means in the world of Ranking of Kings. But like I said, the animation in that fight scene, I mean, overall the animation was incredible, but the end sequence when they were spinning around, they're all each just kind of giving in their attacks, it was such a smoothly directed sequence, and you can tell this is something that had just so much good time in the oven to produce this. Like, the fact that we are so deep in the episode count, 4 more episodes to go, and the production hasn't dipped in the slightest. This is an example alongside studios like Kyoto Animation and even, Cygames, who does the mobile adaptations for their games. They don't rush their products, and in return it shows in the quality and the fact that their teams are being killed to make it. Like, this is just such a great example, both on a narrative, a production, and just creative level of what anime should be in the modern age, where it does feel like a classic, almost Disney approach, but done so with that Ghibli aesthetic, and it's such a well thought out, put together show overall. And I mean, just looking at manga comparisons to the anime scenes, the way Wit Studios took such a basic art design in a manga and elevated it into such a creative masterpiece, it never fails to blow me away. But thoughts and feelings, if you have any, on this episode of Ranking of Kings. Theories, if you have any. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please again, have a good one.